afternoon, everyone, and a Happy New Year. A toast to the 90s and good riddance to the 80s, a decade with far too much tragedy for it to be remembered as a good one for football, although it undoubtedly had its good moments as well. Well, Liverpool entering in the 90s in the same position they went into the 80s, setting the pace and the standards. Now, 10 years ago, Nottingham Forest were regarded as their greatest rivals. Brian Clough was in charge then, he's in charge now, and that makes him unique. Well, that amongst one or two other things as well. George Best is our guest this afternoon. A very Happy New Year, George. Who would be your man of the decade?
No qualms about it. I think Kenny Dalglish. Not only for himself, but what the club has done has been phenomenal. They've done for, what, 25 years now? Since I was a kid, and they keep doing it year after year after year.
And in the 80s, of course, he's won trophies as a manager, as a player, and of course he showed that great dignity after the terrible tragedy of Hillsborough.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to try and forget stuff like that, but you can't really. And what he's done since then is just, as I say, phenomenal. He's turned out his genius as a player, as a manager, as a coach, as a person. And he's got to be the man to do.
Right.
You know, for the last...
Cloughie running him a close second, I know that, we were chatting earlier. And another milestone for Brian Clough today is the start of his second millennium as a league manager. He notched up 1,000 games against Spurs on Saturday.
So Samways then with this corner for Tottenham. Sedgley at the near post looking for the flick on. And there is their flick on, and Lineker! And Spurs in the lead. Forest unable to defend from that flick on at the near post. And Lineker did his work. Yes, a good foraging run by the Forest skipper. Clough! Saved by Mills, but Clough on the rebound. And Forest a level. 1-1. The back heel there by Stewart, Samways, but Spurs unable to get this away. Hodge, nice little touch there. Oh, and a great touch there by Nigel Clough. Hodge continuing his run onto the left foot now. Plenty of red shirts are up, and at the far post is Crosby. And Forest, with 2 in 3 minutes, now go into the lead. Gascoigne, Spurs still searching for this equaliser. Forest defending well, but there's Lineker. Oh, and a marvellous save by Sutton. Terrific piece of goalkeeping. Spurs then making this double substitution. Paul Walsh and Gary Stevens are on, but is Forest in possession? And here's Parker, and here's another chance for Forest. He's gone round Mims, and Forest 3-1 ahead. Substitutions may well have confused Tottenham for a moment. Parker was in. So the last seconds of the game now. Gascoigne making a good run here for Tottenham. But he overhit the cross. It's knocked back in again. Stewart's in there against the crossbar. Lineker from close range. But Forest look likely to make it a worthy celebration for Brian Clough, his 1,000th game as manager.
And that 25 years after beginning his managerial career at Hartlepool, from there to Derby and the First Division Championship. The Forest years have seen success at home and abroad. 2 European Cups. 1989 produced 2 more domestic trophies, the Littlewoods Cup and the Simod Cup. A somewhat eccentric character, football just wouldn't be the same without him. Today is Cloughie's 1,001 game as a manager, and to commemorate all that's gone before, a presentation on behalf of Barclays, a presentation by our own Jimmy Greaves, a silver salver suitably inscribed to the great man. And that was the only surefire thing about the presentation, is that Greavesy would get a kiss, or was it? I don't know which it was, George.
It's in between.
Yeah, he doesn't kiss anybody these days, Cloughie. Is he the type of manager that you could have played for?
Yeah, because I think he likes flair. I mean, whether you like him or loathe him, I think the way he wants to play the game is the way it should be played.
And which is it from your point of view? Do you like him, or...?
I like him as a manager. I'm not too sure as a person, but I think he wants to play the way it should be played.
He's always believed that, hasn't he? Even going back to where you must have played against Derby County and Manchester United.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. He tells them to go out and enjoy themselves, like Sir Matt used to tell us, go out and enjoy yourself. And I think that there might be a surprise today. I think they might turn Liverpool over today.
Yeah, it's quite important that the goals we just saw there at Spurs, wasn't it? It was just a right time for them.
Yeah.
What about the conditions, by the way? Do you think that'll have a bearing? It's an awful day here, by the way.
It's horrible, but the atmosphere is nice. You know, New Year's Day, and everybody's going for it. And I just hope it's a good game.
Right, well, Forest and Liverpool certainly making a late start to the 90s. All the other clubs in the First Division have played their inaugural games, so to speak. Action from all around the country throughout the afternoon. And we can now see the goals from Highbury. Arsenal against Crystal Palace. Here's Martin Tyler.
Crystal Palace had tightened their defence recently, but it's hard to legislate for individual errors. Jeff Hopkins accepting full responsibility for Alan Smith's opening goal in the 22nd minute. Arsenal unbeaten at home. 7 minutes later, a splendid second goal. Lee Dixon with extra freedom to go forward because of George Graham's return to the sweeper system. Dixon doing it brilliantly with excellent assistance from Michael Thomas. A really delicious goal from Lee Dixon. A strong tide running against Palace now. The closest they came to stemming it from this 34th minute corner. Arsenal couldn't clear it. Eventually the scramble ends with Alan Pardew pulling it back to 2-1. Arsenal's answer to that was full of authority. 2 more goals before half-time. Thomas might have had this one himself, but his on-target volley given the decisive scoring touch by Tony Adams. Thomas with a playful kick at his captain, confirming the story. Adams was involved in the next one as well. The ball dropping into the stride of Smith for his second. Alan Smith didn't appear for the second half. It stayed 4-1 to Arsenal. Now for a full check on today's results, here's Mark Austin.
Thanks, Martin. And their confirmation of the Arsenal result from Highbury. The rest of the scores in Division 1. Charlton 2, Southampton 4. Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 3. Coventry 0, Tottenham 0. Everton 2, Luton 1. Manchester United 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Millwall 1, Derby 1. Norwich 0, Wimbledon 1. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Manchester City 0. In Division 2, Blackburn 2, Bradford 2. Bournemouth 2, Plymouth 2. Hull 3, Sunderland 2. Leeds 1, Oldham 1. Middlesbrough 0, Stoke 1. Newcastle 1, Wolves 4. Oxford 3, Sheffield United 0. Portsmouth 2, Leicester 3. Port Vale 5, Ipswich 0. Watford 0, Swindon 2. West Bromwich Albion 3, Brighton 0. West Ham 4, Barnsley 2. In Division 3, Birmingham 1, Fulham 1. Blackpool 2, Huddersfield 2. Brentford 4, Walsall 0. Bristol City 2, Preston 1. Bury 2, Leyton Orient 0. Cardiff versus Reading, that match postponed. Crewe 1, Notts County 0. Northampton 1, Chester 0. Rotherham 3, Bristol Rovers 2. Shrewsbury 1, Swansea 1. Tranmere versus Bolton, that's an evening kickoff. Wigan 4, Mansfield 0. Division 4, Cambridge 0, Burnley 1. Carlisle 2, York 1. Chesterfield versus Doncaster, that's a late result. Colchester 3, Hartlepool 1. Exeter 3, Torquay 0. Grimsby 4, Stockport 2. Halifax 2, Peterborough 2. Hereford 1, Gillingham 2. Maidstone 5, Aldershot 1. Rochdale 0, Southend 1. Scarborough 2, Lincoln 0. And finally, Wrexham 0, Scunthorpe 0.
Thanks very much indeed. Another headline from this afternoon, by the way, is from the second division, a match that finished Newcastle 1, Wolves 4. All 4 Wolves goals to that man, Steve Bull. I wonder if we're going to get goals here this afternoon. Certainly the type of the conditions that are conducive to a high-scoring match. Let's join our commentator, Brian Moore.
Thanks, Lord Elton. And my co-commentator, you've already seen him with Brian Clough, is Jimmy Greaves. George Best going for a win here for Nottingham Forest today. Is that something you favour?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, Brian. At the moment, I've done 3 matches. I've given the Man of the Match award to Liverpool players all the time. if I'm going to give it to a Liverpool player, it'd be nice to give it to Brucey Grobbelaar, wouldn't it? Because he'd be busy.
Indeed. Well, let's check on the two teams. That's our first job this afternoon, starting with the Nottingham Forest side. In goal, Steve Sutton. Number 2, Brian Laws. 3 is their captain, Stuart Pearce. 4 is Des Walker. 5, Steve Chettle. 6, Steve Hodge. 7 is Gary Crosby. 8 is Gary Parker. 9 is Nigel Clough. 10, Nigel Jemson. This is only his 3rd game. And number 11, Thorvador is Orliksson. He's the new man from Iceland. And here's how Nottingham Forest will play, with Orliksson on the right. Crosby switches over to the left. So we've got 2 wingmen. That's typical of Brian Clough. Chattel now at centre-back alongside Walker. It's the side that beat Tottenham, in fact, at White Hart Lane on Saturday. Let's look at Liverpool with, as usual, Bruce Grobbelaar in goal. Number 2 is the Swedish star, Glenn Hussein. 3, Barry Venison. 4, Steve Nicol. 5, Ronnie Whelan. 6 is Alan Hansen. 7, Peter Beardsley, who was dropped to substitute on Saturday, remember. 8, David Burrows. 9 is Ian Rush. 10, John Barnes. And 11, Steve McMahon, who was also a starter on the substitutes bench on Saturday. Well, you can never be sure of the Liverpool formation until the first whistle, but it seems likely that Venison will be at right back, Burrows at left back, Barnes dropping a little back into the midfield, and Beardsley now up front with Rush. It's a much more recognisable looking Liverpool side. Liverpool also winners on Saturday, of course, when John Barnes scored their only goal of the game, this against Charlton Athletic at Anfield.
And here's Staunton. Liverpool filling the middle, and Barnes is there! John Barnes is back for Liverpool with a goal.
Our referee today is Alf Buch of Dollis Hill in London. He's a Fijian who came to Britain back in 1961. Just one more piece of information for you today before the game gets underway. The substitutes, Gary Charles and Brian Rice for Nottingham Forest, Steve Staunton and Jan Molby for Liverpool. 2 hours of hard rain here. It'll make the pitch a little frisky and should make what is going to be a very skillful game even more exciting, and with a lot of pace to it as well. There's John Barnes with tights and gloves. Actually, it's turned a little bit milder. When we arrived in Nottingham at about midday, it was really quite cold, but it's a little bit milder now. But Barnes taking no chances. Liverpool in their change strip of silver grey, attacking the goal to our left. Forest, of course, in the red shirts and white shorts. Here's Barnes, McMahon, Burrows indeed playing at left back as we thought, and Orliksson trying to hold him at bay, and the ball goes away for the goal kick. First meeting between the two clubs this season. Liverpool unbeaten in their last 6 matches. And certainly if Liverpool are at their best or even near it today, and Forest can repeat that commanding form that they showed at White Hart Lane on Saturday, we're in for a real treat to get the 1990s underway. So many people saying that Liverpool are a little bit off the boil at the moment. Well, it's all a matter of opinion. They don't say anything, they just point to the top of the table, and that's probably good enough for them. But it's a good surface here, Jimmy, and that little bit of rain on it, or rather a lot of rain on it, is going to make the ball skim around with a fair bit of pace, isn't it?
It is indeed, Brian. In actual fact, it really is made for forwards. And one would expect to see defenders in a lot of trouble if forwards go for them.
Crosby way over on that left-hand side. That's where the Forest coaching staff like to see him play. The fans here, I think, love to see Crosby down that right flank. It's the Icelandic lad Orliksson who's filling the right flank at the moment. Here's Burrows with a long clearance towards Rush. Walker's there, full of pace himself, turning away from Rush. Hussein's header. Whelan, Rush. There's Laws. There's still a touch there for Parker. A lot of pace through the midfield. With Parker and with Hodge for Nottingham Forest. That'll be a terrific battle in the midfield today against the likes of Whelan and McMahon for Liverpool. Here's Venison, and here is Ronnie Whelan. Hansen. Barnes. Parker's after him. Whelan. Whelan again. Rush. Beardsley. Barnes trying to shake off Laws. And Sutton out quickly. Parker. And Pearce. Real swashbuckling captain of Nottingham Forest. All taken well there by Nigel Clough. Gets it through to Parker. Jemson's up ahead of him. Here's Jemson, quickly challenged by Burrows. And Nigel Jemson, formerly with Preston North End, only 20 years old, and this, as I was saying, just his third game. But he's played Liverpool reserves here a couple of weeks ago for Forest and scored twice against Liverpool reserves in a 2-2 draw. So he'll be looking to put in the same sort of form against the seniors today. Flag is up for an offside, a free kick to Nottingham Forest. This is Thorvador Orliksson from Iceland, 23 years old, actually born in Denmark, but his father's from Iceland, so's his mother, and they moved back to Iceland within a few months of him being born. Edison didn't really get a touch on that with a header, but he had support, as there always is support when the defender's in trouble for Liverpool. They might be in trouble now as Law takes it up and hits it straight at Grobbelaar. His touch. McMahon came on as a substitute near the end on Saturday, did McMahon, but his legs will be a lot fresher than those players who played Saturday and are playing today. Edison. Whelan to Beardsley. It's Forest throw. Forest beat Liverpool 2-1 here last season and lost on a penalty up at Anfield. They've always been great games between these two clubs. A lovely ball for Orliksson, played by Jemson. The cross comes in towards Clough, too high for him. Hodge has it, but Pearce said, leave it to me. Pearce, in fact, has gone on his run. Here's Hodge now for Forest. Now Pearce showed far too much of that to Steve Nicol. Only Rush is up, really, for Liverpool. Walker's after it. Bidds is after him. But Walker kept his head superbly. Found Laws. Orliksson took his eye off it for a moment.
Yes, it's an interesting start the first few minutes, Brian. Both sides are feeling each other out somewhat. It hasn't set off at a cracking pace. They're both literally testing each other.
Jensen. Hodge. Clough trying to get himself free. Almost got Jemson in as well. Barnes. McMahon. It's Rush, but Chettle was there first. That came off Burrows, but Hansen back to Grobbelaar for Liverpool. 6 minutes of the game gone. If you've just joined us here live at the City Ground, Nottingham. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0. Pearce. Orliksson. McMahon. Cut out by Hodge. A little flick with him to Clough. And in comes Hansen. Majestic stride of his getting in when Liverpool needed him most. Edison trying the long ball forward here, but Walker again shepherding it back to his goalkeeper. There's Walker now firmly entrenched in an England place as a centre-back. aggression there from Gary Crosby, winning the ball and winning a yard or so, but again Hansen is there. Liverpool's throw. Hussein to Burrows. Hansen. Whelan. There's Barnes. Olsen doing a bit of tackling back there, and McMahon's forward pass goes over the byline for the goal kick. Interesting character, and they spotted him fairly early, did Forest, and when he went back to Iceland to think things over, they sent the assistant manager Ronnie Fenton with him. They obviously felt that there was one that they weren't going to let slip through their fingers. Whelan to Beardsley. Venison to Whelan. Simple, accurate pass here to Burrows. Cut out comfortably there by Brian Laws. Olsen. Jensen. And a throw to Forest. Taken by Brian Laws, the fullback. 0-0 with 10 minutes gone. Hodge coming to this side of the field. Laws trying to rifle it through towards Clough. Clough in there with Grobbelaar. Got the better of him. Against the post. And Liverpool will claim that there was a foul on their goalkeeper. Decided that there was no foul on the goalkeeper, and Clough very unlucky not to have put Forest into the lead here.
I think that young Nigel was entitled to go for that. There was no question of Brucey having it. Very unlucky because it was an acute angle. He did all he could. Unfortunately for him, it went the wrong way.
And the whole thing picked up superbly there from 18-yard camera. Well, he very nearly conceded a second goal, and he won in the last 3 games against Bruce Grobbelaar.
I think Bruce was a bit unlucky there. He got dropped in it a bit by John Barnes. No question of that. It was a bad pass back.
Well, it's a corner then for Nottingham Forest. Olsen will take it. Chettle, the 6-footer at the near post. They're going to play it short, though, for Hodge. For Olsen again. Now for Laws. Olsen playing it in, but it came off the Liverpool defender. It'll be another corner. More orthodox corner this time. Grobbelaar getting it. Actually, quite a shortage now that Lee Chapman's out of the side. Quite a shortage of 6-footers in the Forest side. I think Chettle is probably the only 6-footer there. Grobbelaar struggling a bit. A poor clearance by him, and Olsen very nearly forcing his way through. Now let's have a look at Grobbelaar here. He obviously had some trouble there. It was the knee that injured in the little clash with Nigel Clough, and he's obviously still feeling it. Meantime, here's Peter Beardsley. Checked his man beautifully. Rush waiting in the middle. That's the goal for Liverpool. the scorer. A fantastic breakaway goal by Liverpool.
Well, it's the usual, isn't it? While everybody's looking at Bruce Grobbelaar's knee, everybody looking at it, and Liverpool go away, 3 passes, and the ball's in the back of the net. Ian Rush, superb execution. Great cross by Peter Beardsley. Super goal. Super goal.
While we wait for the restart, Grobbelaar's getting some more treatment for Rush. That's 6 goals in the last 7 games. And remember, he missed from the penalty spot against Charlton on Saturday. My goodness, his eye was in there. He will still have a little bit of a question mark against Ian Rush. Is he as good as he was before he went to Juventus? Well, there's a sharpness about his finishing here after some lovely work by Beardsley. And that's 13 this season, with the season only halfway through. And if Rushy finishes up with something like 26, 27 goals, that will not be a bad season for him.
That really was a great goal, Brian, because, as I say, it started from an injured Bruce Grobbelaar. And within 10 seconds, it's in the back of the Forest net.
They will need to get Grobbelaar right, because you can be sure that Forest will come back at them, but Liverpool, in the meantime, are in the lead. Clough. Well, if it's any consolation for Forest fans, they were also behind on Saturday against Tottenham, when Tottenham for 20 minutes or so played some superb stuff, but they weathered that storm. Can they do it again here? In goes Pearce. Oh, knocked over Crosby almost then. Maybe a chance for another Liverpool break. No. That time Hodge was in there to thwart them. But Beardsley to Rush. Beardsley scampering down that right flank as well. Here he goes. And Barnes has taken up a good position at the far post. Won't reach him because Orlickson is there to guide it back to his goalkeeper. Walker's header. Beardsley, 10 goals this season. It's always a surprise to people outside Anfield when he gets dropped, but Kenny Dalglish knows what he's doing. Foul on Clough there by McMahon. A free kick to Nottingham Forest. And it'll be Stuart Pearce who'll take it. Parker, great run there by Hodge, but he couldn't quite get on the end of it. But he's here again now and almost found Crosby inside that Liverpool penalty area. Venison away. Pearce for Forest. Jemson. 3 Liverpool players there, and the odds were too much for him, but Forest keeping up the pressure there as Pearce now gets it through, and Forest now get a throw.
It is noticeable that Liverpool are defending in numbers, and only Ian Rush is really up at the moment.
Hodge. Away by Hussein. Good touch by Beardsley. Whelan finding Rush. McMahon in turn finding Barnes. Laws was at him. And Barnes skipped over that challenge, past that challenge there by Jemson. Finds Venison. Rush. Venison. McMahon. They'll come through to Nigel Clough. Orlickson. Trying to run Burrows and getting bundled into touch for his pains. The referee decided a free kick. David Burrows unhappy with that decision. It'll be a free kick for all the protests to Nottingham Forest. With Jemson, Clough waiting in the middle, Crosby. And it was Jemson who got the header in. But there is a real lack of height at the moment in that Nottingham Forest attack. Jemson 5'10". Nigel Clough 5'9". Here's Walker. Pearce. Burrows for Liverpool. McMahon. Venison. Oh, there's a great run by Whelan, but it was cut out by Steve Chettle. Beardsley. Whelan. McMahon. Burrows. Little enough time, but he shrugged off the challenge of Orlickson. He's got Barnes away on the left touchline for him. Liverpool leading by a goal to nil. Ian Rush, the scorer. Another Liverpool throw. Burrows. Barnes. Beardsley. To John Barnes. Could be problems here for Forest. Parker got that away well. Followed it through. Trying to get Crosby away, but Hussein's across there for Liverpool.
Interesting performance by John Barnes so far. He hasn't really put a foot right. He's given the ball away every time. And I wonder whether he's got a positive attitude today. He's wearing his nylons. He's taken his gloves off, so he's resigned to getting dirty.
Well, here's McMahon. Nickel. Is that a foul on Crosby? Yes, says referee off Butch, and it's a free kick to Nottingham Forest. For all that, Jimmy, Liverpool look fairly impressive to me. All this talk about, and it's a reasonable opinion that they haven't been playing at their best, but they look to be very much in the groove at the moment.
Well, I don't know. Every time I've seen them, Brian, they haven't lost.
Back pass.
And they've never looked in trouble, to be honest.
Barnes to Beardsley. Here's Walker. Rush coming across to charge in there to make life difficult for him. Jemson. And now Hodge. Here's Pearce. Liverpool have pulled a lot back now. Crosby to Pearce. Parker. Well, in the end, Hansen had to take emergency action there.
There's always somebody to read it, though, and this is what Liverpool are doing at the moment. They're reading the situation.
Hansen does most of the reading, Jimmy. Here's the corner then for Forest. Hussein with a good towering header gets that one away to Rush, the only man up at the moment, getting some support here from John Barnes. A little lucky to get a second go at that. McMahon, though, playing it on for Nickel, who's suddenly sprung up on this side of the field, as indeed has Beardsley. And then lost out to Laws. Jemson being challenged by Hansen, but flicks it away very comfortably there towards Nigel Clough. Clough's return pass wasn't good enough. Nickel to Burrows. Walker. Crosby. Pearce, who was available just behind the wingman here. Hodge. Clough getting Hodge through again. A nice bit of play by Hodge. Jemson couldn't quite get it on the run there.
Good move, that. That's a lot better move, and I think that's what Forest have got to do. They've got to try and get it in on the ground so that their players can have a dig at it.
Actually, there's some delightful passing movements by both sides, Jimmy. Some real high-quality football.
It is high-quality passing. Absolutely true.
Forest, of course, said to be on the verge of increasing their staff with a £1.25 million deal with Gary McAllister of Leicester City. Well, the Forest chairman told me just before the start there's still a fair bit of talking to be done before that deal becomes a reality. But Forest very much in the market for Gary McAllister of Leicester, but £1.25 million. Here's Clough, played on nicely for Hodge. Skipping past one challenge after another, but Hussein gets it away for Liverpool. Pearce. Parker. Letting Crosby in. There's his cross, but it's behind. It's a goal kick. So with 24 minutes gone, Nottingham Forest 0. Liverpool 1, Ian Rush after 12 minutes.
Talking about the passing, Forest in particular are passing it excellently, and one would feel against a lesser side they would have achieved something by now, but they've just got to keep plugging away.
Good jump again by Pearce. Here's Crosby once again. Jemson may have held that a little too long. There's Walker. Yes, Brian Clough and his teams. You may not always like what he says, but his teams so often are a joy to watch. And it's rare to see also a Forest player in trouble with a referee. For the foul on Burrows. By Burrows. Getting word from the referee.
Frankly, I think the lad was unlucky. I don't think it was.
Here's Parker. Hodge. Trying to bring the left boot of Pearce in. Oh, it's usually much more accurate than that. Defences usually quiver when Stuart Pearce gets that ball onto his left boot, anything within about 20 or 30 yards range of goal. Talking to one or two players who've watched Forest a lot over the last decade, and their disciplinary record, you know, Jimmy, they said they can only ever remember 3 players in the whole of the decade of very competitive football being sent off in Nottingham Forest colours. That's a terrific record and a great credit to Brian Clough, really, isn't it?
It is a great record. It shows the command, I think, and the respect that Brian has over all his players.
Nickel. Rush again trying to get goal side of Walker, but Walker again read that well.
On that record, Brian, it also means that he's installed a theory or a practice that says, look, don't argue, don't worry about it, because in the end you can't win.
That's right. Throw to Liverpool. To be taken by Steve Nicol. Nicol has had a little problem with a neck injury. Missed quite a few games, but they're an infinitely better side with Nicol in it. Beardsley to Steve Nicol. And he'll have a big part to play for Scotland, you can be sure, in the World Cup this summer as well. Hodge playing it on. Parker chasing after it. Again, Liverpool closing it down in the middle of the field. Rubbing our way outside his penalty area. And the pace has flagged just for a moment. Beardsley, little back flick. Clough, an awkward bounce. Hodge, flick to the outside of his boot to Orlickson. Here's Barnes. In goes Law. Orlickson again. Ooh, challenge by McMahon was fierce on Hodge, and Hodge goes in again. And the referee's given the free kick to Nottingham Forest. It's another strong challenge by Steve McMahon.
Quite right too. It's a good decision by the referee.
Laws with the free kick. Hussein and Hansen both going for the same ball. McMahon. Jemson. Parker. Little Crosby on the far side. Couldn't keep it in. See the rain still sweeping down here at the City Ground. Hodge battling away there through those midfield areas for Nottingham Forest. And a shove in the back by Crosby. A late result that you wouldn't have got earlier. Chesterfield 0, Doncaster 1. Barnes now from Beardsley. Beardsley now for Burrows. In turn for McMahon. McMahon again. Whelan. Forrest just can't get a sniff of it at the moment. Good passing movement, this one by Liverpool. Rush goes in there. Oh, and a miscue and a rare one there by Walker, but Pearce is there and finds Gary Crosby. In turn towards Nigel Clough. Only Jemson is up. Hansen back covering well for Liverpool. Crosby. And again Crosby. There's McMahon. Same to Hansen. Rush. Guiding his header straight to Laws, who puts his pass straight at the feet of Burrows. Now Barnes. McMahon. Burrows to Barnes. Laws after him. On again. Beardsley to McMahon. Barnes has made the break, may not need him. And pushed away well by Sutton from McMahon. And finally hooked away to safety, or comparative safety, by Stuart Pearce. At this point, Liverpool beginning to get a grip on things. Beardsley. Rush getting it back. Barnes. And the ball out of play by Orlickson, and a free kick, or rather a throw rather to Liverpool. And John Barnes will take it. Burrows, Beardsley. Laws getting the better of that challenge with Barnes. Barnes going after Laws. Barnes felt that he'd been fouled just a moment before that. And a little element of retaliation there by Liverpool number 10. Barnes trying again to get it going down that left flank for Liverpool. Walker. Here's Walker. Oh, he's cut it out. It might be dangerous now because there were 2 or 3 out for Liverpool, but that was a poor pass by Ronnie Whelan. And Pearce half gives it away to Nicol. Recovers to find Crosby. Much more incisive at the moment, Liverpool is. Forrest, who are giving the ball away so often. Here's Barnes. That's a goal kick.
Yeah, Liverpool have definitely upped the ante, and that's irrelevant. That's relevant in the last 5 minutes. The thing with John Barnes is at the moment he doesn't seem to be getting into the game. He's shown a bit of anger, which is nice to see from his point of view, because it means he's a bit interested. But they're certainly putting the pressure on now, Liverpool.
Here's Pearce. Delicate little chip forward for Jemson. Hodge. Parker. And Crosby again.
Of course, really, it would suit Forrest if Liverpool did come forward a bit, Ryan, because that would mean that there's a few spaces at the back.
But Liverpool at the moment looking very solid at the back and very threatening when they come forward. And leading by a goal to 0. Hodge, nice bit of play by him. But we haven't really seen any midfield runs from Steve Hodge yet. Rush. Trying to bring Burrows into it. And now Hansen. Chettle only half cut that one out. Hansen again for Liverpool. Beardsley letting it run. Barnes up there, Rush up there again! And that time Sutton got out to hold him up for long enough for others to get back, and Chettle in the end to make the important header above John Barnes. In fact, there was a foul on the Forest defender. But Rush, with his quickening pace, so near to getting a second real opportunity for Liverpool. Again, Beardsley with the important and telling pass. The flag stayed down. The linesman said no offside. And Sutton was to the rescue. Here's Parker. Hodge. This is a good run by Hodge. He's got that little flick with the outside of the boot. But Liverpool get it away through McMahon and find Rush again. Beardsley couldn't pick that one up. Parker did for Forrest. Pearce. A little bit of space here for Nigel Jemson. Finds Crosby. Can he get to the byline? Well, he gets... No, it's a goal kick. Oh, a corner. The referee pointed first to the goal kick. Changed his mind and has given Forrest the corner. Chettle forward to the near post. The lone 6-footer in this Forest side. Maybe for a little flick on. Didn't quite make it though. Pearce, an opportunity to get it out to Crosby again. Here's Parker, a long-range shot, but it's wide of the Liverpool goal. Scored Forest's 3rd goal at Tottenham on Saturday. And that, as you can see, was his first for a long time.
Interesting movement. This is a shot by Parker, but Liverpool didn't attempt to come out. They just held their line. Whether they're going to let them shoot from there or not is a conscious decision they might have made before the game.
Well, here's Beardsley, who's making so many things difficult for Nottingham Forest. There's his shot, but hit powerfully, but straight at Sutton. Hussein trying to hold him back there. There was a foul on the Forest number 9, and the referee presumably must have played the advantage with the ball having come to Crosby. But Hussein looked as though he might be outpaced by Clough for a moment there, and Clough's not the quickest, and he looked to be pulling him back, and the referee allowed it to go.
Oh dear, I think Nigel was very unfortunate there on 2 counts. Certainly the first time he was being held back. Referee was right to wave play on, but then he should have given a free kick.
Walker. And Walker again. Burrows. Orlickson. Beaten by Barnes. Finds Beardsley. There could be problems here for Forest. Barnes again. Crossed in again towards Rush. A brilliant goal. And trouble there certainly was. A combination of Beardsley, Barnes and Rush was quite irresistible. And Forest find themselves 2 down. A lovely ball in. The pace of Rush. And that old feeling of Ian Rush is coming back. And that's 2-0. Jimmy Greaves.
You can't believe this, can you? I mean, it's the first ball John Barnes has put right, but apart from that, it was just, again, lightning build-up. Lightning build-up. And this is the difference between the 2 sides. Forest really have played well. They've pushed it around well. They've found their men well. They've created the odd opening. But Liverpool have just struck with rapid speed on 2 occasions, and it's counted on both occasions.
12 minutes and 38 minutes, and Jimmy is a great striker yourself. Those who've been saying, I'm not sure that Rush is as good as he was, I think the nation has seen its answer this afternoon, don't you?
I felt this season he'd come back to his best, Brian, and he's proven it today, that is for sure.
It's McMahon. It's a long, weary road ahead now for Nottingham Forest. Here's Rush again, the man looking for his hat-trick. And the referee fell to the ground. That was the cheer. Jemson, Parker, Laws, it's Forest throw. Orlickson with it. Jemson gets it back to Orlickson again, but Barnes is there again for Liverpool. And a goal kick. Well, that second goal again was certainly worth looking at again. The contribution of Beardsley before it, and then Barnes with this beautiful cross in. But the pace of Rush was really the decisive factor.
It does highlight, though, the value of the ball on the ground in this particular weather.
Hodge gets it back. George Best, I don't know if you can hear us in the studio. I think we all had a feeling that Forest might well be in the mood to turn Liverpool over, but that seems to have gone sadly awry at the moment.
Yeah, well, what's happened, you've seen a couple of moments of pure genius from Peter Beardsley. The first goal was, you know, just different class, and he started the second one as well. And Rushy's back to his best. You know, he's the sharpest finisher in the world at the moment. And the game's over now.
Brian Clough wouldn't agree with you on that last point, that's for sure. But certainly it's a huge, huge job for Forest to do.
Blimey, I hope not, George. I mean, we're standing up here freezing. We've got another 50 minutes of this yet. I mean, we all know what football is. It is a funny old game, Brian, and if Forest can knock one back, then it's wide open again.
Here's Rush again, bringing Barnes in again. Beardsley. McMahon again. Barnes. Off the referee. Thank you very much. Here's Orlickson for Nottingham Forest, but it's got him nowhere. As Burrows takes it down the flank now for Liverpool. Almost got it through to Beardsley. Rush, in turn, getting it through towards Steve Nicol, but Pearce is there for Forest. And a goal kick. And as George Best was saying, he's back to his best, and that means he's one of the greatest finishers in the world. Close to half-time now. Remember, we should be showing the goals from the rest of the First Division programme before the end of our programme this afternoon. Okay. And Clough hit it but straight at goal.
It's worth a go, though, because along the ground like that, if it gets into the corner, it makes it difficult for the keeper, especially Brucey, who is limping around a bit still.
Right on half-time now. The first half that's been in many ways dominated by Liverpool, who've looked so solid at the back. Forest really, apart from Nigel Clough hitting the post early on when he outwitted Robillard. The Liverpool defence never really seriously been in trouble. And those lightning strikes by Rush really have made all the difference. Supported by the superb Peter Beardsley, and on that last occasion by John Barnes. Played a minute of time added on. Benison turning it away from Jemson, finding Hansen. There's the Liverpool skipper. In trouble. McMahon. Barnes chasing, but Laws will get there first. And gets it back to Sutton. Chettle chasing back. Finds Pearce. Referee again looking at the watch. As the half-time whistle goes. And a very good first half indeed for Liverpool, with those 2 goals after 12 and 38 minutes from the brilliant striking form of Ian Rush. In a moment, we should get the views of George Best. Remember, there are plenty more goals we've got for you from the rest of the First Division programme this afternoon. But here at the City Ground, Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 2.
the blue car, we put original Duracell. And in the red car, the new Duracell. A battery developed over 3 years to last even longer than before. The new Duracell now lasts up to 20% longer.
Every year, the world's favorite airline brings 24 million people together.
How did George Graham plan to snatch the title with almost the last kick of the season?
I'll tell you in this. Inside Football, the best football magazine I've ever seen.
Inside Football covers the lot. The agony, the ecstasy, the skills, the spills, the all-time heroes, tomorrow's superstars, the great games, the great clubs. So get Inside Football now.
If you really want to know the score.
Oh, new kitchen. So easy with the help of the new DIY discount warehouse. Open 6 days a week until 8 on Thursdays.
Flush finish.
Your hair looks nice, Joan.
Throughout your life, you'll be exposed to nearly 700,000 commercials.
Soft and manageable.
Darling, have you seen my extra power turbo drill with reversible hammer action?
Men.
Whatever the quality of the commercials, don't compromise on the quality of the picture.
A Sony Trinitron with flat screen and variable color balance.
Breaking technology's boundaries. Oh, Kevin, I do like it in our medallion award home.
Me too, Tracy.
So warm, so cosy. There's just one thing.
What's that, Petal?
It's these red lines. They do sort of get under your feet.
That's total heating, Tracy. It shows we're making the most of less than half-price electricity.
Which I assume, Kevin, is why in many cases electricity is so economical to run.
Got it in one, Trace.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Oh, I suppose you get used to them.
Not central heating, total heating.
Welcome back. Very comfortable here for Liverpool. A 2-goal cushion against Nottingham Forest. George, Forest really haven't put them under any sort of pressure at all so far.
Not really. I mean, as I said earlier, I thought that there might be a surprise today, but Liverpool are totally in control. And as I said, there's no way that Forest are going to come back from this.
You felt at the time there was just a hint of offside about Rush's first goal after 12 minutes.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I mean, I obviously haven't seen it since, but I thought
Here we are.
there might have been a chance that he might have been... what's it there again? I still think there was a... But he's so sharp over that 5-10 yards.
And here's the second one. I mean, no doubt about this one at all.
Oh, no.
Vintage Rush again, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, he's playing like Greavesy used to. I mean, he's so sharp. He's become so sharp again. You know, he went through a bad spell, and now anything that's knocked in there, he's getting in and he's knocking them away. He's doing left, right, and centre at the moment. Different class.
Well, George, let's see even more goals now. It's from a little earlier on today. The ones between Millwall and Derby, and Charlton and Southampton. Charlton, who were in 4th place this morning. Let's join Martin Tyler.
At Selhurst Park, Charlton had gone 8 league games without a win, but a promising start against 4th place Southampton. Robert Lee after 25 minutes. Southampton obviously found time over the festive period to rehearse their set pieces. Matthew Le Tissier curving the equaliser beyond Bob Boulder on the half hour. 2 minutes later, a variation on the theme. Russell Osman this time blasting Southampton into a 2-1 lead. Their football in free play is similarly confident. Rod Wallace racing between Joe McLaughlin and Colin Pates. 3 Southampton goals in 7 minutes, and Charlton in chaos again. Rodney Wallace also responsible for Southampton's 4th 19 minutes from time. Le Tissier and Wallace developing a splendid understanding. Southampton very exciting to watch. Charlton, great relegation-esque apologists in the past, but their plight perilous now. They did contribute the game's final goal. Steve McKenzie's shot worthy of better circumstances. 4-2 to Southampton. The Saints march on. At the Den, Paul Goddard's first appearance in Millwall blue after his £800,000 move from the team he faced this afternoon, Derby County. Millwall did the double over Derby last season, but they fell behind after 22 minutes. Nick Pickering, a scorer against Coventry on Saturday, on the mark again here. Millwall have now won only 1 of their last 14 league games, but they did manage an equaliser 8 minutes after half-time, not from Goddard, but left-back Ian Dawes showed the strikers the way. Millwall 1, Derby County 1.
Thanks, Martin. Just to clear at one point, it was Southampton in 4th place this morning and going exceptionally well there this afternoon. No doubt about the situation here at half-time. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 2. Liverpool looking well and truly in control. Join us again after the break.
On a Royal Caribbean cruise, it's paradise.
Whichever way you look at it.
You'll see Broadway revues.
And Caribbean carnivals.
You'll have a feast of fine cuisine.
And a taste of native dishes.
Your every whim and fancy
will be magically served.
You'll relax on gleaming decks.
And under Caribbean skies.
A Royal Caribbean cruise. It's paradise.
Whichever way you look at it.
This is the night mail crossing the border, bringing the cheque and the postal order, letters for the rich, letters for the poor, the shop at the corner and the girl next door, pulling up Beatock a steady climb, the gradient's against her, but she is on time. Passing the shunter, intent on its toil, moving the coke and the coal and the oil, girders for bridges, plastic for fridges, bricks for the site are required by tonight. Grimy and grey's the engine's reflection, down to the docks for the metal collection. The passenger train is full of commuters, bound for the office to work in computers. The teacher, the doctor, the actor in farce, the typist, the banker, the judge in first class, reading the Times with a crossword to do, returning at night on the 6:42.
The countdown to the big one starts here with World Cup 90. World Cup 90 is a lot more than just a sticker album. It's a complete guide to the whole competition, bringing you player picks to collect for each national squad, with great action shots. You get each team's World Cup history and honours, reports on great games, great moments, and profiles of the star players. With this double-sized part 1, you get the binder free and 5 packs of stickers to get you started. World Cup 90. Watch out for it.
It appears I'm about to tell you about Danske Ale, a lager with most of the alcohol removed. Apparently, it tastes just like real lager.
When you drink low alcohol, make it a good one. It isn't easy to give up smoking because the nicotine in cigarettes is addictive. But with your willpower, Nico Brevin can help you break the habit. So if you've decided to give up, ask your pharmacist for clinically tested Nico Brevin and let Nico Brevin capsules help you break your smoking habit.
To the City Ground in Nottingham. Liverpool leading 2-0. The teams are ready to go again. Forest now attacking the goal to our left. No substitutes on. Not surprising, really, so far as Liverpool are concerned. They were so commanding in that first half. Forest 2 substitutes. Gary Charles, a young lad who can play either in defence or down the flank, and Brian Rice, who is normally away on the left side of midfield coming forward. I suppose it's possible, Jimmy Greaves, that Brian Clough might well bring on Rice, who's got a bit of experience, and take off the Icelandic man, Orliksson, switching Crosby to the right. That's one possible permutation for him. But more than anything else, he's got to find a way of stopping Ian Rush and Liverpool, and they come forward. But here's Gary Parker for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, I think if Forest are going to get back into this game, they're going to have to go down wide down the flanks and cross the ball hard and fast back. They're going to have to beat the fullbacks. They're not getting anywhere getting through the middle.
Yes. There's Whelan. And Laws. Orliksson away on the right. Seen very little of him so far, and the cross was too far ahead of Clough. Easy for Grobbelaar. Liverpool knowing that a victory today maintains their 4-point lead at the top of the First Division. Certainly Forest at the moment a shadow of the side that was so captivating in their form at White Hart Lane on Saturday. Burrows gets it away, not very convincingly. Parker to Clough. He's got Jemson waiting here in the middle. Jemson looking for Hodge. Purposeful strike there by the Forest midfielder.
Good move inside. Brian Clough, Nigel Clough, I should say, pushing it to Hodge, who just shoots wide.
Referee just for the moment wasn't happy where Grobbelaar was placing the ball for the goal kick. First time that Alf Butch has had a live game on TV. Hussein to Whelan. Head forward again, but there's Steve Sutton. 28-year-old goalkeeper now in his testimonial year. Hansen's header. Nicol. Chettle. Straight to Nicol. Here's Barnes. Parker after him. Rush to Barnes, to Beardsley. And now Barnes again. He's got his gloves on in the second half. And he's got a free kick. Swinging it wide to the defender, David Burrows. Steve McMahon again. Well, Hodge had about 3 goes at that and looked as though he might beat all of 3 defenders, and in the end lost it. And here's Beardsley. Chettle in quickly. But another Liverpool throw. Chettle gets it back. Hansen's header. In goes Hodge. Jensen flicking it back for Parker. There's Crosby on this flank again. Twisting there towards Hodge, who's in there. And it's in there! Stevie Hodge for Nottingham Forest. Stands 5'7", got in amongst the big defenders and got the telling header in. And from the other side of the field, watch the number 6. There's his header beyond the diving Grobbelaar, and Forest are back in the game. Jimmy Greaves.
Well, this was an obvious Forest tactic. They've lulled Liverpool into a false sense of security.
They certainly did that. Henderson. Nottinghamshire has found its voice as Forest now go looking for an equaliser. Here's Parker. Olixon outside him. Parker. Here's Hodge again. He's had a fabulous season for Nottingham Forest. Here he is again. Oh, a lovely little reverse ball that Pearce couldn't quite pick up. But it's brought an added confidence now to Nottingham Forest. That might just present a few problems to this Liverpool defence. A little dart from Hodge again. Gets it back to Crosby. A little dummy by him and a goal kick. Certainly the game needed this goal. And Steve Hodge obliged.
It was a good header. Flicked it on well. Gave Bruce no chance. I think the header was so good that even though Bruce has got a bit of a knee injury, I don't think that would have made any difference.
Here's Olixon. Forest throw. Olixon. Olixon. Crowd enjoyed that. Not happy with the challenge though. And the referee will call Ronnie Whelan to him. Challenge on Olixon, the Icelandic star. A few stern words. And a free kick to Nottingham Forest, who now can continue to put the pressure on Liverpool. Yes, it was a rash challenge there, two-footed by Ronnie Whelan on Olixon. There's the free kick. Chettle was up there looking for the little flick on. Hodge is in there again. This time it comes to Crosby. It's a different game now. And Hansen there getting it away. Parker playing it in once more for Forest. Beardsley hustling to get the ball away. Clear and gets a free kick. The foul by Crosby.
There's no doubt about it, that goal has shaken Liverpool up.
And there was a very important header by Hansen just a moment ago, deep in his own penalty area, Jimmy, when Forrest looked very threatening indeed. Now Walker. Rush. A challenge by Pearce, with the throw to Liverpool. 9 minutes of the second half gone. Nickel throw. Walker there first for Forrest. Crosby lost his feet and Liverpool found the throw. Beardsley, little touch by him. Parker got there first though for Forrest. Jensen playing it back again to Crosby. It's going to be a Liverpool throw. Whelan. Venison. Little touch again by Beardsley. Here's Beardsley again. Could be problems here. Rush trying to get in behind them. Some good work by Walker. Beardsley. It's a real battle now. Hodge tries to get it away. Nicol plays it in again. Sutton hoping to get there before Rush, and does so. A throw out to Clough. Killed by him. Finds Orlickson. Clough's touch. Played forward again. Forrest beginning to play some stuff now. Here's Nigel Jensen. Bringing Pearce, his captain, into it. Orlickson. Forrest looking for a good cross, but the whistle will go. And Clough is down injured. We can have a look in a moment to see just how Nigel Clough got his head injury. Played in there. Just a clash of heads. And a pretty unpleasant one as well.
Unpleasant clash of heads. I don't really think that it was a foul. And really, it was still very much in Forest's favour, because they still had the ball. This presents him with a reasonable chance.
Well, you would normally expect Nigel Clough maybe to try a little dipper here. No, it's an indirect free kick. So Pearce with a thunderbolt, possibly. That's what they're looking for. Gary Parker over the ball, but playing it in for Pearce, but driven straight at McMahon, flinging himself at that ball. Now Walker for Forrest. Jemson. Hussein getting it away. And Pearce just a little too feverish with his challenge there on the Liverpool number 2.
Still very difficult where you draw the line with a wall. Steve McMahon was about 3 feet away from that ball when it was actually kicked.
It's true. But Nicol now for Liverpool. Beardsley's offside. And sporting enough to carry the ball and to throw it to a Nottingham Forest player.
I think what's happened is Forest have stepped it up a bit, and they're getting stuck in a little bit, particularly in the middle of the park. They've not allowed the Liverpool midfield to settle on it like they did in the first half.
Spinning ball at his feet, plays it forward to Clough. Just gets it through. An advantage played well there by the referee. Clough again. Well, tried to get Jensen through. But here's Hansen. Striding majestically forward again for Liverpool. Barnes. Swift challenge by Chettle, and a fair one too. Orlickson.
I think the man who really stepped it up was Steve Hodge, and that's where maybe they'll have got a problem, Brian, because he is limping slightly. I think he's carrying an injury now, and he was the man who really did start to make it happen for Forest.
Jackson. There's his cross. Doesn't reach Jemson. Here's Parker. Waiting for Pearce to come up. Gary Parker chipped in. Pearce continued the run. Hussein got it away for Liverpool. Parker once more for Nottingham Forest. Sliding on that wet turf. Crosby. Forest 1, Liverpool 2. Hodge. And a Forest throw. Hodge. Quite right, he has made the difference, Hodge, in this second half. Jemson backing away. He's given a penalty. Jemson brought down there, and referee Al Butch had no hesitation running to the spot. And Nigel Clough now.
I don't think there was any question about this being a penalty.
Burrows it was who brought him down.
We were right, Brown. We agree with the referee.
Now Clough from the penalty spot with an opportunity of making it 2-2. Clough against Grobbelaar. It's 2-2. This is some Forest comeback now. 2 goals in the opening quarter of an hour of the second half when they looked dead and buried at half-time by a Liverpool side that had given them nothing. And now they've conceded 2 in 15 minutes.
Wasn't a bad penalty either, was it?
And it really is all to play for now. Liverpool thinking, no doubt, at half-time they'd only really got to keep going on their own steady way to maintain a 4-point lead at the top. And now they've got a task on their hands. A real up and under. Clough's head finds it. Orlickson's boot finds it. Jemson's chasing it. And Jemson shrugs off Hussein. He's gone past them all. And in the end, a feverish challenge by Burrows just prevents the youngster getting in the shot. But to beat Hussein and Hansen in one run, as he did, and then right at the end, for Burrows to come in and make that important challenge. Here's Nicol at the other end for Liverpool now. Crossed in once more towards Barnes. Law's chasing him over there. And a goal kick given. Actually, Liverpool looking towards the linesman, wondering whether that might have been a penalty. Actually, from my angle, it was impossible to see whether that was just inside or just outside the area in any case. Liverpool obviously made an inquiry there.
I think Barnsley was looking for it, personally. Good old pro that he is.
Rush. Beardsley. Hodge in there. They're really battling out there now. This is some game. 2-2. Hansen. And in the midst of all the battling, still some delightful passing movements on display as well. Chettle taken nicely on his body. He and Walker were really outpaced by Rush in that first half, but they've become a little more compact in this second half. George, we thought they were dead and buried, George Best, didn't we? But this game has turned up another surprise for us.
Well, it shows you what I know. I mean, they, as you say, they look like they're out of it completely. And all of a sudden, they're back into it. And I tell you what, if you had to put money on somebody now, you'd back Forest.
Here's Hansen. Burrows. Shrugs off Orlickson. Finds Barnes and Beardsley. It's Burrows again. There's the cross. Cut out by Walker. Only as far as McMahon now. And that's a Forest Pierce throw. Pierce. Parker running into trouble. Under pressure both from Rush and from Whelan. Nicol with the throw. Liverpool warming up Steve Staunton. Pierce still in play. Beardsley's touch to Whelan. Back to Peter Beardsley again. Oh, there's some space here now for Nicol to get his cross in. Sutton under pressure, tipped it away under pressure from Barnes for the Liverpool corner. Barnes with that corner. Beardsley's pulled away from him. Hussein's going in there. It is Jackson who got it away. And a Liverpool throw. Chettle given that away though. Whelan might leave a gap in the middle, but that came fortuitously off Parker and fell straight through to Steve Sutton, the goalkeeper. Clough there. Barnes. Now Hansen. Burrows. Beardsley. A foul. Right, Brian Laws.
Just that little bit of hesitancy now crept into Liverpool's game. They're not 100% as sure as they were. And that's pretty obvious the reason why, Brian, but...
Burrows with a slight problem. And Alfbuch not taking any chance at all. If there's a head injury, he wants to get the trainer on quickly. It was, of course, the case of Barry Venison, the Liverpool #3 playing today, who in the game was against Arsenal live on TV, was staggering around for quite a while before help could be summoned. And David Burrows okay again, and it'll be a free kick to Liverpool. To be taken by Burrows himself. Flicked on by Barnes. Might come through to Rush. Whacked away, though, by Walker. Nicol with the throw. Beardsley returning it. Pierce couldn't prevent it going for the corner, so Liverpool get the corner. Hussein forwards. Benson going into the box as well. Barnes at the near post. Rush in there too. Whelan on the edge of the box. Beardsley with that corner. Floated to John Barnes. Beardsley again. Could be a problem here. Venison completely missed his kick, and Clough glad just to knock it away to get a little bit of respite. Here's Burrows. Played in again. Pierce with a cushioned header to his fellow fullback Brian Laws. Olekson. Just over halfway through the second half now. Nottingham Forest 2, Liverpool 2. Pierce. Jemson. He's had a good second half, and of course it was he who was brought down for the penalty. Barnes. Beardsley. Outwitting Parker. Now Barnes has made a great sprinting run forward, but Walker's the man they've got to beat. Orlickson. A little flick, almost got through to Clough. Whelan to Venison. Hit high towards Rush, the flagger stayed down. Pierce to Parker. Now Walker to Clough. Picking up Orlickson. Laws to Parker for Forrest. There's Hansen again. McMahon. It's a much more even game now. After Liverpool had dominated the first half. Nicol. To Burrows. This is a good break. Whelan on the end of it. Rush waiting in the middle. It's into the side netting though, and it's a goal kick. So though you felt for a while the tide of battle might have gone Forest's way, these rapier thrusts of Liverpool are still presenting a certain amount of danger to the Forest defence. Whelan with a terrific break from the midfield there. 20 minutes of the game left. Jemson. Can he get the better of Hussein? Jemson straight at Grobbelaar. Never scored a first-team goal. This is only his third game, but 8 goals in some 11 reserve team games this season. And keeping Lee Chapman out of the side at the moment.
Did everything right except the final execution. Beat his man comfortably. Tried the right thing, just didn't come off.
McMahon.
You get the feeling that both sides are just happy to just stay with it at the moment. I'm sure someone will launch an attack in a minute.
Here's Venison. Cut out by Parker. Certainly in midfield in this second half, Forest have got much more to say for themselves. Parker and Hodge. Here's Clough. Here's Hodge. Pierce. Jameson. Brought down that time by Hussein.
There's no doubt about it. This lad's got the beating of Hussein, Hyson, or I'm not sure whether he knows who he is at the moment. Once Jemson gets the ball, there's no question about it. If I was Forrest, I'd be pushing it up to this lad at the moment.
Well, let's see what Stuart Pearce can do here. Parker's also in a position where he might fancy a little dip at goal. 5 in the wall, joined by Hodge. It's going to be Stuart Pearce. For Laws, driven hard at Venison. Laws again. A real neat and tidy fullback, this Nottingham Forest number 2. And a lovely touch on him as well. Parker almost got it through to Jemson again. Suddenly it's Orlickson. Still it might be Orlickson. They claim for a handball there, Forest, but they got a corner. Suddenly, Olixon, the lad from Iceland, looked to be in a good, positive goal-scoring position there. But he gets a corner.
Again, it was good work by Ogen Parker.
Forest corner. And another one. That came off Hussein. And really, Liverpool at that moment didn't quite know where they were. Chettle and Jemson and Hodge. Parker on the edge of the box. Clough at the far post. Crosby beyond it. They've got plenty forward. Olixon again. Floating it in. A flick on there by Chettle. Always so difficult to defend against. Chettle. There's a confidence about Forest now. Pearce. McMahon caught there. Hodge looks to be full of running. Chettle throwing it wide here for Pearce. The Forest fans are finding their voice again. This is a good spell for the home team. Jemson again trying to lift it into the path of Nigel Clough. And Whelan gets it back. Mind you, Liverpool have soaked up this sort of pressure through the 80s without so much as blinking. But certainly it's a tougher task than it appeared to be after 45 minutes for them. Beardsley chasing after this one. And in the end, the pass eluded Nicol. And he finds Crosby with it. He's shown too much of that to Whelan, but Crosby's battling on. In the end, it falls for McMahon to Barnes. Here's Beardsley. Don't know that Nicol will get to that, will he? Just about, but then no, the flag was up. Well, there's Liverpool's run in the 80s, 6 titles, a record 17 titles in all. When we say they dominate the 80s, that little caption tells you why. Here's Whelan.
They haven't played so bad in the 90s either.
That's quite true. First 45 minutes, they were quite scintillating, weren't they?
They were indeed.
Parker giving that one away. And in this sort of situation, Jimmy, how often have we seen it where you think, well, now the tide of battle seems to be flowing Forest's way and Liverpool just keep their heads and stick a goal in when you least expect it near the end of a game?
Oh, what? I mean, you just can't trust Liverpool, can you? Never been able to trust them, Brian.
But it's been a terrific comeback by Forest. And they'll say it's not over yet. You might have to start scurrying through the record books to find when Liverpool last let a 2-goal lead go. If they lose this one. Barnes. Olixon. Beardsley. Comes through the Barnes. Little touch for Beardsley again. Rush is ready to pounce. For once, Beardsley's pass was way off target. Olixon chasing this one. And gets it back to Jemson. Missed his kick. Good work there by Orlickson, as well as good positioning by Jemson. He just pulled that back well, and Jemson, under a lot of pressure there, just couldn't quite get the touch that mattered. But here's Brian Laws now, making another break. Orlickson. Cross comes in towards Jemson. And it's skied off a defender over the crossbar. Steve Nicol was it for the corner. And they brought Chettle forward again, Forrest, looking for a goal to complete a fabulous comeback. But not with a corner like that. Although McMahon's lost his way, Pearce tries to whack it back into that goal mouth. They get another corner. By the time it came off Rush, who was back there doing his bit. Well, the big crowd here at the City Ground really have had value today. Hodge to Crosby. Orlickson battling with Beardsley. It came off Laws for the corner, for the throw. David Burrows with the throw. Beardsley allowed a yard or two there by Walker. That could be very dangerous. As it is, it falls for Pearce, who finds Crosby. And his run halted by Whelan. Here's Whelan again. McMahon. Venison. Nicol. Into the path of Venison. A good little pass there by Steve Nicol. Chettle. To Crosby. Crowd, in fact, were warning him that Nicol was behind. Barnes trying to make something of it, but it'll come through to Sutton. A little under 10 minutes of the game left now. 2-2 the score. Here's Hodge. Orlickson. Checked his one beautifully there. Got the better of Beardsley. But Beardsley, a great chaser of causes. And in the end, conceded the free kick, though. Delightful little flick there by Orlickson. Over Beardsley's head.
I don't think Beardsley was impressed.
Well, here's the free kick. Floated towards Jepson again. And Liverpool know the problem this young man is causing. Two there. Getting above Jemson to make sure that he made no progress. Forest corner. It's out to Laws. Might get to the byline. Jemson not quite there. Jemson might be there. Corner given again. Liverpool at their wits' end then to keep that one out. And more pressure on them as Orlickson will place another corner towards Chettle, maybe, who's at the near post. And Liverpool get it away. Everybody in the Liverpool half of the field except Steve Sutton, the Forest goalkeeper. Whelan. Beardsley. Steve Hodge after him. Beardsley outpaced him. Finds Nicol. What now? Here's McMahon. Alongside him is Whelan. Walker's header was important. Orlickson with a chance to get it away. Just flicks it one side of Barnes. A long ball, and Parker, the idea wasn't a bad one as Parker made his run from the midfield, but through the mud of that midfield, even Gary Parker couldn't make that one. Around about 7 minutes left now. 2-2 the score. Pearce with a challenge on Nicol. Henderson to Whelan. Hussein. Jason, will he get a shot in here? He has! Tipped away by Grobbelaar. Jensen's been a real star in this second half. And it's Hussein, I think, who's injured there. He's caused so much trouble to experienced defenders like Hansen and Hussein. And there's his shot, which brought out the best of Grobbelaar.
Yeah, I think he's suddenly found himself in a position this second half where things have gone for him a little bit, and he suddenly thought, well, I've got the measure of these two lads. They might be big names, but I can do a bit against them, and that he's certainly done.
Jimmy, in a minute or two's time, I've got to ask you to name your man of the match. I would have thought at half-time there would only been one in terms of Ian Rush. Have you thought of, give us a few lists of the runners and
Well,
runners?
there's Ian Rush, obviously, for 2 outstanding goals, and who do you pick in the Forest side?
Well, let's have a look at the corner first. Liverpool under more pressure. Forest looking for a winner. Not with a corner like that. Laws. Orlickson. And Nicol first to reach it and get it away. Rush chasing after it. Walker there first, though, for Nottingham Forest. Don't quite get it to Crosby where he can control it. Nicol stealing a yard or 2 or 3.
It's back to Bruce Ewan. Talking about the man of the match, where there's Parker, Hodge, Orlison, Jimson. It's very difficult. I'm struggling, Brian. I'm struggling, I tell you.
Well, I'll give you another minute or 2 to make up your mind, James.
Thank you very much.
Here's Venison for Liverpool. Beardsley. Parker. That was a foul by Hansen on Jensen. No, says the referee. No foul. Hodge goes in, as though his life depended upon that one. And this time it was a foul. The free kick quickly taken, and it came to nothing. And Hodge ready to argue the point with the referee, and in fact it was the number 8 Gary Parker who was acting as a peacemaker and saying, come on Steve, don't get yourself involved in that this late in an excellent game of football. 2-2. Minutes of the game left now. Parker. Jensen. Back comes Barnes. Did some valuable work there in the midfield, just as Jensen is getting things moving again for Forest. Orlickson with the throw. Parker there first to react. Orlickson now with a chance to cross it. No, he gives it to Gary Parker. Hodge has made another darting little run in support. Well, Forest had ample opportunity to get that ball across, and suddenly they might have to pay for it. No, there's Hodge there battling away to stop the ball coming through to John Barnes. Jimmy Greaves, perhaps you'd like to name your man of the match.
Yes, well, in fact, I suppose you could argue it could be Ian Rush, but I'm going to give it to Stevie Hodge because he's the man that made it moments in the second half, Brian, when we thought Forest were dead and buried. He's carried an injury throughout the second half as well, but he's kept them all going, and I hope he shares it with the rest of the lads, because they all deserve it.
Olixon. So Steve Hodge, the man of the match. A free kick to Liverpool. The trip on Burrows. Of Rush in the first half, which was quite phenomenal, wasn't it?
Well, Ian Rush has done his job, and he does deserve the champagne, Brian, but the argument is that I think Forest have come back at Liverpool. They have made a game of it. I think the man who made the start of it all was Steve Hodge, so I'm going to give it to him. There'll be plenty of times for Ian Rush.
Here's Pearce. Benison. Jameson. Hurdling past McMahon. Beardsley is after him though, and he carried it for too long, particularly when he had Parker on one side of him and Crosby on the other. Barnes now for Liverpool. To Burrows as we go into time, added on for stoppages. Jemson. Still time for somebody to grab a bit of glory for themselves. Pearce with the long ball forward towards Nigel Clough. McMahon to Barnes. Back to Burrows. Hansen back to Grobbelaar. A look at the referee's watch. Commanding performance by Liverpool in the first half. Those two brilliant goals from Ian Rush, back to his very best. And then a real gutsy performance by Nottingham Forest with a lot of class in it as well. They brought it back to 2-2, led by the goal from Steve Hodge and then the penalty from Nigel Clough. Here's Nicholl rather, and it's a corner for Liverpool in the dying seconds. Will Liverpool snatch it now? They've kept Hansen and Nicholl back, but Hussein's up there, and if Beardsley can deliver a good corner, it couldn't necessarily be over yet, but Benison lifts that way over Sutton's crossbar. And so it's a goal kick. Both linesmen have indicated that time for them is up. It's just a question of how much the referee adds on for stoppages. Two minutes of time added on. But it's over now. A fine game, dominated by Liverpool in the first half with those two goals by Rush. Nigel Clough's penalty after Steve Hodge had scored for Nottingham Forest, making it a splendid game of football over 90 minutes. Nottingham Forest 2, Liverpool 2.
We've got just 10 seconds to tell you about our music and video clear-out. You've got until January the 13th.
Labatt's Canadian Lager, regular and strong.
Thanks a lot, buddy. Didn't any of you guys tell him the bottle's got a twist-off cap? Nope.
Labatt's Canadian Lager, regular and strong.
With a twist-off cap.
The countdown to the big one starts here with World Cup 90. World Cup 90 is a lot more than just a sticker album. It's a complete guide to the whole competition, bringing you player picks to collect for each national squad, with great action shots. You get each team's World Cup history and honours, reports on great games, great moments, and profiles of the star players. With this double-sized part 1, you get the binder free and 5 packs of stickers to get you started. World Cup 90. Watch out for it.
On the left, claret. On the right, Bordeaux. They look the same, taste the same, because, in fact, they are the same. Only one wine region can call its red wine claret. That's why people who know choose Bordeaux. From under £3 a bottle.
Beecham's Hot Lemon comforts colds, fights flu symptoms fast.
The Astra from Vauxhall, once driven, but ever smitten.
It's bad news, I'm afraid. I don't think the old girl can get us there. But I know a man who can.
AA Relay Plus. If we can't get your car going, we'll lend you a new one free.
What do you think the trouble is?
Could be a blown head giblet.
Maybe the big hen's gone.
AA Relay Plus. We're all you need to know.
I've been nice and cold in this hallway all winter, and now the owners have fitted storage heaters.
Hello?
Storage heaters from East Midlands Electricity.
Hello?
Welcome back. 3 other goal-scoring games in the First Division today. We can see 2 of them. At Goodison Park, Everton against Luton, and at Carrow Road, Norwich against Wimbledon. Here's Martin Tyler again.
Norwich City 6th this morning, haven't had much holiday cheer. A third 1-0 defeat in a row. This even more galling at home and in injury time. Wimbledon's captain Keith Curle with a buccaneering burst, and Terry Gibson so tidy in front of goal. Wimbledon doing rather better away from Plough Lane these days. Norman Whiteside back for Everton after a 9-match absence with a goal after 97 seconds against Luton. And Graham Sharp's scoring touch also returned. Alec Chamberlain, a former Everton reserve goalkeeper, pushing the ball out, retrieved by Mike Newell. A smile from Sharp at last, only his 2nd goal of the season. Luton lifted in the second half by Kevin Ratcliffe's foul on Ian Dowie. But Danny Wilson's penalty didn't deprive Everton, winners by 2-1.
Well, thanks there to Martin. There we are, the top half of the First Division on this New Year's Day. Liverpool's lead just 2 points from Aston Villa, 3 from Arsenal, and really not a lot to choose between those 3 at the moment. George Best, New Year's Day. We've seen virtually all the New Year's Day programme in the First Division. What conclusions have you reached?
Nice, exciting football, which is lovely. I mean, we've had a terrific game here today. I mean, it looked like it was all over at half-time. And Forest have come back, played terrific in the second half. And I just hope the next few years that's the way they play. All out attacking. That's the way it should be.
That's your hope and your prediction for the 90s?
I still think Liverpool are going to be the team to beat.
Yes, they were pretty special in the first half.
First half they were different class, but to be fair to Forest, they were terrific second half. And Cloughy must have given them a glass of champagne at half-time, I think.
Well, he had enough, didn't he?
Right. He did something right.
Thanks very much for being with us, George. To all of you, bye-bye and a Happy New Year again.